Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and today we're going to review the Monday Night Wars Wave 2 Ultimate Edition Mankind. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said, today I found Wave 2 of the Ultimate Editions. I'm really excited. I think I wanted these ones a little bit more than the first wave with Roddy Piper and Bret Hart. WCW Piper wasn't a huge want of mine necessarily, and the Bret Hart, it was a cool figure, but just as far as what it, like the slot it fills in my collection, just not as big as the Mankind and Eddie in this wave. So Mankind here is based off of him winning the WWE or WWF Championship on Monday Night Raw. The famous "that will put butts in seat" line from Tony Schiavone over on WCW sent a bunch of people over to Monday Night Raw to see Mrs. Foley's baby boy finally win the big one. So you can see I've got them out of package already. Just looking through a couple of the things on there and how they did it, I'm pretty excited to get a little deeper in and look at it. I'm excited. And then the box here, of course, it just talks about the exact moment. It says it was the Monday night that flipped the wars. Talked about Mankind finally getting his WWE Championship. I'm not going to read through all of it. There's about that. That's all that needs to be said. So we are just going to get everything out of the box and start taking a look at Mankind. Welcome back. Like I said, today I'm going to be taking a look at the Mankind Ultimate Edition that is in Wave 2 of the Monday Night Wars series, and this has become one of my favorites. I really enjoy the Legends line, and there's not really a line of Mattel that don't necessarily enjoy. Like, even the basics have gotten a lot better, but the Ultimate Editions, especially this Monday Night Wars, I've really liked. Still looking out for the Elites. I haven't had luck with the shipper or just finding them on the shelves, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we find those before too long. But I did luck across one Mankind and one Eddie Guerrero that was just sitting on the shelves at one of my Walmarts. So we have Mankind here today from when he finally won the big one. We got to see Mrs. Foley's baby boy finally win the WWE Championship on Monday Night Raw. Of course, this was accompanied by the famous Tony Schiavone line of "that'll put butts in seats," revealing that Mankind was going to win the championship and sending a bunch of viewers over to Monday Night Raw and slowly kill WCW from there on out. Anyway, this Mick Foley specifically, I'm really excited for. I like that we got soft goods for the shirt, and there's a couple different things that I didn't know how they were going to execute it, so I'm excited to look at. But just out of package, it feels good just posing around, moving around, and there's a lot of accessories. So gonna move on. Let's take a look. Here is Mick Foley in his WWE Champion glory. And I think this is a fantastic figure. The soft goods differentiates it from the other Mick Foleys we've gotten, and the body choice, the parts and everything, I think work really well. I recently got, I think I've picked up 5 Mick Foley figures in the last 3 months. And the Elites that we got of him from ringside use these larger arms, but I think they work on this body because he was a bigger guy, and you don't see how ripped they are. So he's got the same arms as Cesaro or John Cena. Maybe Kevin Owens has these on his new Elites or Ultimate Editions. Elites, I guess, too. But they work for this attire. I think they give him the proper size. I know I saw some people weren't happy with the size of the forearms, but I think with the shirt especially, it works really well. Legs are pinless, and I think we got pinless legs on his ringside figures. I don't have those. I was going to compare this with the other Mankinds that we've gotten. Accessory wise, he comes with Mr. Sacco, obviously. He does come with the removable mask, which I'll pop on a couple of the head and check it out. He comes with two-fisted hands here, as well as the open hands. And I think these are more like Dude Love kind of hands. I don't know if I'm going to be using them for this. I'll probably just have them posted on my shelf this way. But then we've also got the tongue out head sculpt, which I think looks very, very nice. They do a good job with the mask. I think that looks good. They really, like, they got the beard, the goatee and everything in there. As far as Mick Foley, like, as far as Mankind goes, they have really done a good job with other sculpts, like giving us different sculpts with the mask on, instead of just like reusing the same one over and over, which they did for a while. The removable mask we've seen many times. And then we have this sculpt. So at the end of his match, he was like talking to the crowd up on the corner, and he was just holding his mask. So I'm glad that we got this head, although I wish there was more expression to it, because I think of this as more like a post-match Mick Foley, and he was like, he was ecstatic. Like, he just won the WWE Championship, and I don't really know quite what they were going for. I do think the likeness is spot on. I think it's a good-looking sculpt, just not exactly what I would picture for that headless sculpt. I think the mask fit, maybe? No. Sure does not. Okay, it's kind of weird. So, unless I'm just doing it completely wrong, yeah, that does not fit on there. So, I think they just give us this for him to hold, like, post-match, which we can go ahead and do. The peg on this is pretty big, and it just falls off. Don't love that. So there, we've just got post-match Mick Foley. We can just go like that with the mask. And see, I wish there was more emotion to it. I don't know if they're trying to go for more of like a crying sort of look, but it just doesn't hit the mark for me. I think I'd rather just have like this one where he's smiling, or even like the tongue out one. I think this, of like kind of like an entrance head, like when he's coming out looking at the camera. So I think those are both very good. I think this is a fine likeness, just maybe doesn't hit the mark for what I'd like is that third sculpt. Like I said, pinless legs, they move well. This is the first figure where I don't mind the drop down hips. You can move it back and forth, fine. So you can see it kind of drops down. Like you push it up, push this up, and when you push it down, you immediately get that gap, which I don't like. So many other figures, like you kind of have to maneuver it to get the leg back, but this Mick Foley feels pretty good. The torso, I think, is the Anvil torso. So he's got a white t-shirt underneath this, like a plain white t-shirt, which he did normally too. And then I'm pretty sure he's got the Anvil singlet torso. But then the like gem of the attire here is just this cloth shirt. I think this looks great. I love the tie. I think that looks really good. And like I think I said when I looked at the ringside stuff, it really gives it a different feel. Like we got cloth goods with all of those, and all of them have something a little bit different. And it's not like Hulk Hogan where they're just trying to give him like a different shirt. Like Mick Foley, he wore the same attire, but he had things that were different enough that I feel like it's worth getting new figures of him. I think this Ultimate Edition is really, really nice looking. Obviously, I didn't mention, but you can see he comes with the championship, which I'm glad. I'm going to review the Eddie. Probably have that posted up in a day or two after Work in Progress Wednesday, but he doesn't come with the belt that it says he had on the back of the box, so I'll talk about that further later. But overall, I'm really, really happy with this. I talked about the legs. They move perfectly fine. The pinless joints here move well. He's got the double jointed toes. Those always, like, never an issue there. The shoulders going up are a little tight, but with the butterfly joints and everything, those all fit well. Just overall, see, you can see there, I talked about the heads just popping off. I guess they're all going to. So there was that one, and then here's the tongue out one. Yeah, and that too. Just comes off really easy, which kind of is frustrating because when he's got longer hair. So when you're trying to move it around and pose it, this one's probably the tightest of the three. You try to move it around, they just pop off. I don't have that a lot with Mattel. I feel like I have that all the time with Jazzwares. Like my Nyla Rose figure, Jazzwares figure, I can't pose that. Like I can't even turn her head or it falls off. But anyway, back to Mick Foley. Gonna clean up the accessories, and then I had to grab a couple more Mankinds that we can compare with. Okay, so I think I grabbed all the Mankinds in my collection. I used to have the Amazon exclusive. Now that's just kind of in my fodder bin. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Here is the ringside Mankind. I love this figure. I really liked all three of those. This has the pinless legs as well, which I think they're the same, just different shades of brown a little bit. This is obviously like early Mankind. And then we have the Hell in a Cell Mankind, which is kind of the same attire. Obviously, this is not cloth goods, it's the rubber shirt. I did put the wrist tape on him because that was missing, but like I said, you can see there's the difference between the brown and the white shirts is obviously pretty big. Just it looks like a completely different character outside that mask, but I think they do a fantastic job with his head sculpts. Even like they don't just hide his sculpt behind his mask. I think they do a really good job with the likeness, and then he's got the mask as well. And then the last Mankind, we'll just swap him out of here, that I had, I think this is the SummerSlam wave. So he's got the WWE like logo tie because he was a referee or something. I don't remember off the top of my head now. I can't get him to stand up. But for the longest time, this was the only one I had until recently. So now I finally got the white shirt with the brown tights instead of just the sweatpants. So I'm sure there's going to be more Mick Foleys, but I think that because he's always been kind of weird with his merchandising and legends, that they just said, we're going to get out all the Mick Foleys we can, and I've been very appreciative of it. So I am definitely going to be doing a Mick Foley showcase here before too long. Probably in the coming weeks. But yeah, if you can, I say pick this up. If you don't have any Mick Foleys, I think this is like the one to get. The Monday Night Wars line, I know Steve has talked about how they're only doing attires from Nitro or Raw, like the weekly shows. I guess probably just Raw and Nitro because it's the Monday Night Wars. Anyway, that is kind of weird because obviously there was like some big moments on pay-per-views and like attires you would like from pay-per-views, but at the same time they put so much emphasis on Raw and Nitro. Like you had a lot of big matches. Whoa, Mick Foley taking a bump in his old age. So that there's a lot of iconic moments obviously that you can still get from Raw and Nitro, like this Mick Foley. So I think it works out. We're still going to get a lot of cool attires. I know the Eddie Guerrero, I'm excited to get that out and take a look at it. A lot of people wanted a Halloween Havoc Eddie, but they found a Nitro where he basically wore the same attire. So it works out. I think it's a weird spot to paint yourself into. You still could have included pay-per-views, I think. But anyway, to wrap things up here, I think this is a great Mick Foley figure, Mankind, whatever, however you want to refer to him. My children have recently watched the Hell in a Cell where he gets thrown off the cage and routinely ask me to watch the video where Mick Foley has his tooth in his nose. So take that as you will. I enjoy watching wrestling with my kids and indoctrinating them with the good old WWE. But anyway, if you made it all the way to the end, I appreciate it. I always appreciate the likes, the shares, subscribes, all of that. And remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude, out.